Good evening, class. I hope y'all are doing wonderful today. My name is Kelly Welch, your teacher, and today we will be talking about tens. So we will be going through 10 to 100. Now, we have been learning so much about place values in the last few days. So what we are going to do is first go over what we have learned, and then you will be able to connect it with what you will learn for this lesson. So, for our slideshow here, now what we have learned the past few days, you remember that one group of 10 ones equals one group of 10. So, as you can see here, I've went ahead and circled the squares, but this is one whole group of 10 ones, a second group of 10 ones, a third group of 10 ones, a fourth group of 10 ones, and a fifth group of 10 ones. And of course, we've used squares for this to represent 1. Now, since we know that there are 5 groups of 10, it will be 5 for the tens value. And then, how many do you think that we would have left over? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, 4 ones. So 4 would go in the ones place value, which is the furthest right-hand side. And then yesterday we talked about the 11 through 19, which comes right after 1 through 10. So here is an example of place values. I'm going to go ahead and draw around the smiley faces, and that will make 10, a complete set of 10. And so we know that since we have a complete set of 10, that's just one group, so we know for the tens place, it will be 1. And then for the ones place, it will be 2 because I have 2 left over. Now let's go through, since we did 11 through 19 yesterday, let's just go through those numbers. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very good. So now we're going to look at counting by tens to 100. Tens is a very special scenario because always the ones value will be a 0. So every tens, the ones is a 0. So you know first that you learned 1 through 9. So 1 through 9 will be in the 10 spot. It will be groupings of tens to 100. Now, just to prepare you for the presentation, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And move you to the YouTube video, which I have for you. And the YouTube video will be about tens. So, hold on just a minute, and I'm going to share my computer sound so that you will be able to hear it. And this is called Scratch Garden, the Counting by Tens song. So let's sing along with it, all right?
Counting by tens.
Counting by tens. Now you start with the number 10, and as you go along, jump 10 numbers and practice this song. Here's a little hint to help as you go. Just count up by ones and then add a zero. Count up by ones and then add a zero. Then add a zero. Like this. 10, 20, 30, 40.
Counting by 10's.
Counting by 10's.
Let's do it again, but let's go higher. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80.
Counting by 10's.
Counting by 10's.
Oh, that was fast, so let's do it all again. Right from the beginning, starting from 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Counting by 10's.
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 Okay, so you watched the video. So let's go over 10s again and count them again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and begin with what these mean, what these groups of 10 refer to, so I can give you a visual picture of each one. So for this PowerPoint, we have a color code. So each one, you will see that the color changes for each number, so you can keep a track that the number is an individual number. As we add to the numbers, it gets higher and higher and higher. So when we add to 10, 20, 30, 40, so the numbers get higher and higher. The quantities will get higher and higher. Okay, so now we see how many groups do we have here? Now we know that this is a group of 10 because it's standing still. There's no other ones. Remember that when counting to 10s, we always have our ones place will always be a 0. So we know that. So now we see that we only have one group of 10. So it would be 1. So everyone hold up one finger, so it would be 1. So it's one group of 10s. Okay, so for the next one, now we have two groups of 10s, 1 and 2. So we know by counting by 10s, the ones place will be a 0. And notice also you don't see any spare squares here or anything, so you know that this is just the two groups of 10. So 2, 20. And we could even count these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that would be 21s, also 20, the number 20. Okay, so for the next one, let's see if you can do it. 3 groups of 10 equals 30. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3. So again, 10s is 3. And 1s, of course, it would be 0 because we do not have any left over. For the next one. So how many would this be? Count these groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is in the 10s place. And let's go over again. Why is 4 in the 10s place and not the 1s place? because in counting to tens, we always use 0, and also these are groups of tens, so it would be the amount of 40. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've added one more. One more group of 10 equals to 50. Everyone say 50. 50. So that would be ones. We know it's 0 because that tens is always 0. We do not have any left over. And then 5. So let's go over the numbers that we have had so far. We have 10, 20. So this is 10. This red is 10. And then this orange one together with the red group makes 20. The yellow together with the red and orange group makes 30. The green together with the yellow, the orange, and the red group makes 40. And then the light colored green with the darker green, the yellow, the orange, and the red makes 50. So, and also hold up your hand like this. Let's say this is a 0, okay? Everyone has their hand like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 and 0, 50. So that is 5 groups of 10. So the next slide, can you guess what the next slide is going to be? We are going to add one more group of 10, and that's going to be 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like counting 1 through 9, except you are counting in groups of tens. So it's more of an amount than 1 through 9. So we know that our ones place will be 0 because we have none left over, and then 6 tens. And then same for the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be 70. Ones place is 0. Tens place, 7 left, 7 groups of 10. Okay. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so let me ask you, what would ones go over here? What number would be in the one spot? If you said 0, you are correct because tens, when counting by tens, there's only groups of 10. We have nothing left over, so it would be 0. And then what would be in the 10 spot? If you said 9, you were correct because there are 9 groups of 10 as we counted. So for our last one is a bigger one. So we add one more group of 10, and what does that make? So it would make 10 and 0, 100 is how we would pronounce that. Everyone say 10 and 0. Very good. So let's count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. So now this is a little more confusing. So we know that ones has 0. So let's go ahead and put that down. So for a 10, what does a 10 have for ones? If you said 0, it does. So for 10, it would be, in the tens place, it would be 0 this time because we are saying there are 10 groups of 10. So it would be 1, 0, 0. Very good. So now I am going to test your knowledge in playing a game. I am going to divide you up into groups of 2, and you are going to answer the tic-tac-toe game. So each one is able to select his or her own square, and I will put an X or an O beside your square if you get it right. You do not get it right, I will not put anything beside your square. And whoever gets 3 in a row first wins. So unfortunately, I do not have an audience, so I cannot demonstrate this guided practice. So for the independent practice, what I would have my students to do is that they would draw 10 through 100 in groups of 10. And what they would do, I would give this to them as an example, and they would draw these 10 groups of 10, and they would write the numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And I would just be sure and remind the students before they start that to remember that in the 10 spot is 1 through 9 added with a 0, and that will help them. I will only have this up here for a minute or so that students will understand what is expected of them for this practice, and then I will cut it off so that they can do the independent practice on their own, so that I can see that they have learned counting by tens. Thank you very much.